Welcome back to GRC AI Podcast. My name is Victor Monga. I am joined today by Christopher Baum. He is a career IT analyst who has spent the last 30 years advising state governments on election technology and currently serves as the Chief Compliance Officer at Vote Right. Christopher, it's great to have you here.
It's good to be here, Victor. Thank you.
In a 2000 Gartner analysis, you noted that the cost of processing a manual ballot can be as high as $20, while some counties were doing it for 0.03 electronically. Looking at 2026, has the focus shifted from saving money to proving security, or are those two goals still at odds?
Well, actually, and it's interesting. I did a calculation on how much it would have cost to hand count every ballot in the 2024 presidential election. There were officially counted 156,302,318 ballots that were actually tallied in the presidential election in 2024. If you count them properly with a team of four, it takes about 3 minutes per ballot. And with a team of four, that would have been person hours would have been 31,260,463.6 hours to count. And if you pay just minimum wage, you know, what we pay people who service at the hamburger stand, it would have been just under $250 million to hand count. Now, I want to emphasize that's just counting the ballots. That's not collecting them, housing the people, feeding the people,
Right.
providing them, sanitary facilities,
Right.
any of that stuff. That's just the amount to count them. And here's the other thing about that. People kind of suck at counting. I mean, we're really bad at it.
Don't hold back.
Yeah, I know. I'll try and come out of my shell for you. And my bachelor's degree's in mathematics, by the way. So,
Which makes sense. That aligns with all the numbers that you are projecting here. That totally makes sense.
There's a reason why we went from abacus to calculator to computers, because we can't count. Ever notice that when you go to a bank, remember when you used to cash a check at a bank and they would count the money 3 times just to make sure that they had it right?
And now it's all the machines now.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's really interesting to me that the people who are proposing using paper ballots, and they all have websites to sell merchandise, and all of them take electronic payments, none of them take paper. So
that makes you think. That makes you wonder.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, have you ever gone into a local market where they won't take $50 or $100 bills because they get counterfeited so much?
Yeah.
We have the most secure paper currency in the world. Watermarks, special paper, all of that stuff, and merchants refuse to take it because it can be counterfeited. But those are the people that want to, people want us to buy things electronically but vote on paper.
Yeah. Case in point.
So, yeah, we're terrible at it. So we probably shouldn't do it.
Got it. Let's talk about one of the piece you co-authored, Cyber Defense magazine, about air gap.
Yeah.
You argued that just because it's possible to connect a system to a network doesn't mean it's necessary. For those outside the tech world, why is keeping these systems offline still the most practical solution we have?
Okay, so we can't count. We know that we can't count. But we don't want to we want to keep a clear chain of custody on the information.
Sure.
And the way to do that is to make sure that the information stays off the network. If my computer is never connected to a network, that means that if somebody's going to hack it, they actually have to have physical access to it. So let's not give them access to the systems that we depend on. Okay, we keep them separate. We keep them off the network. When I go and have to program a system, I've got to have something in my hand, all right, that plugs into it. And I do that in a transparent way. I do it with cameras on me. I do it with witnesses. And we program every system that needs to be used independently with handheld, and they never touch a network. When I collect the data after, I take another device, I download the data to it, it encrypts it, it's tied to the identity of that machine, and when I go back to the tabulator, insert it, again, clear chain of custody, never on the network, and that way we can trust the data because we have watched it every step of the way.
Right, right. And for listeners, who are thinking easier said than done, Chris also led the team that helped New York City select its next generation voting system. So New York is a massive, complex environment.
That team was led by my very good friend and colleague, Ed Frega. I was the knowledge specialist on the team.
You were part of it. So let's talk about it. What was the biggest logical and political, maybe, hurdle your team or what you had to advise to clear that the average voter might never see?
Well, that's the thing is how do you maintain a chain of custody? How do you guarantee that that person's voice is heard? And that's the biggest obstacle. It's just like, all right, how do I show that this goes into the machine and it comes out recorded correctly? And there are methodologies to do that. You have what's called the golden copy of the software. So that is kept, and you can always identify the software on the machine against that golden copy.
Right.
Look, this machine hasn't been tampered with. These are the results that came in. By the way, we do have paper receipts, and we can count fairly well in small batches. So you get a statistically valid number of paper,
Right.
and you count that in front of witnesses, in front of cameras. You don't take it to some warehouse, Texas, and count it in private.
Right.
You count it under the lights, you count it in front of the cameras.
Chris, I want to talk about your ability to deliver on time and never miss a deadline, your project management approach, if you will. You have delivered, at least what I counted or what my LLMs helped me, 550 custom reports. I'm sure there's plus minus to it, with almost zero missed deadlines. When you're dealing with something as sensitive as election data, how do you keep a project from getting bogged down by the sheer weight of regulations?
Well, the thing is that we do have several thousand years of experience in voting as a species.
Sure.
So we know where the hiccups lie. The question is that are we going to pay attention to the experts? Are you going to hire people that know what they're doing and then listen to them? So that's how you meet the deadlines. You apply good project management techniques, you make a sufficient investment in it, and then you listen to the people that know what they're talking about. And that part seems to be missing sometimes.
So before I move into the wrap segment, let's talk about some of the current things that you're working on, research or any insights that you're currently working on you want to share with our listeners.
Well, we are working on some interesting projects at VoteRight right now, specifically in terms of helping people that have accessibility issues to vote in a more practical way and make sure that their voices are heard too.
Sure.
So one of the things that we're working on is remote voting. That is secure all the way down. How'd you like to be able to vote from your phone and know that it counted and know that it wasn't faked?
Does it involve crypto?
It does not involve crypto. It involves encryption, but you don't have to pay to vote. You just have to vote.
Got it.
And do it in a way that's inclusive so people see it in the language that they're used to seeing. If they can't see, they hear it in the language that they're used to hearing.
Sure.
And make sure that the people who are more marginalized get equal representation.
That's interesting. Does any of the AI, LM functions or machine learning are involved in this project?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Now, I use that stuff all the time, but I have conversations with my AI daily. It's a tool like any other tool. If you use it appropriately, it has a place, but it does not have a place in chain of custody.
Okay. And why is that? Chris, help me understand. Why is that?
Well, the thing is that you want to be able to sure that it isn't tampered with. So what AIs are by nature network beasts. So in order to have AI running encryption, for example, you want a standalone machine to do that. You want it on the machine that's using the data. So again, you have a clear chain of custody of that.
Totally
It's important to remember that governments do not own voter data. Governments are stewards of data, and stewardship is a different relationship than ownership.
Okay. Okay.
And governments don't decide when people are voters. The law decides when people are voters, and it is up to the government to make sure that those laws are adequately enforced and that everybody who has a right to vote has the opportunity to do so.
Appreciate that. Totally. So you founded Winner 8 and developed a
Venerate,
power
yeah.
system dongle
Yep,
that sold in over, I think, 30, 40 countries.
yep.
Does
That
that,
was a while back.
yeah, does that fix it mindset of an inventor help you when you're troubleshooting a certification process, even at vote right?
I think it does. There are people in my past who would strongly disagree with that.
We got to have
But
one
yeah,
of those.
you need to have the ability to take a look outside of the box. Yes, we've got strong traditions
Yeah,
and they need to be examined, but they need to be examined critically. And sometimes the way to fix things is, in one example in my life, I won't talk about the organization, but it was inserting a piece of cardboard into a box that made a big difference in the operation and still does 7 years later. Just one piece of cardboard in one box.
you recently did half century ride for charity in New Jersey. After 3 decades in IT and compliance, what does 5 days in the New Jersey Pinelands do for your perspective on the work land you do every day?
I grew up in the Jersey Pines. It's an important part of my life, and frankly, I spent 5 days walking 60 miles by myself,
Wow.
including a my fourth day was an unpredicted nor'easter. So I spent 11 hours in a one-person tent in a nor'easter. My advice is don't do that. But I was prepared for it.
Right.
It was a really interesting experience. Spellbound ride, something else. I've been riding recumbent bicycles for a very long time, more than 20 years, but recently got a new one because the old one was 7.5 feet long. I couldn't take it anyplace. It doesn't exactly fit on
Sure.
a bike rack. The
Especially
new
in
one
New
I can,
Jersey. Yeah.
yeah, the new one I can fold in half and put in the back of my SUV.
Nice.
So I did that, and rode for 50 miles. Looking forward this summer. I don't know how well you know the New Jersey area, but I'm very close to Philadelphia, and there is a different charity ride coming up this summer that goes over the Ben Franklin Bridge,
Okay.
over the Delaware River, the one that George Washington crossed,
Yeah.
and goes all the way to Atlantic City. So it's about 68 miles,
Wow.
and that's what I'll be doing this summer.
Well, we'll be cheering for you. Awesome, Christopher. It's actually rare to find someone who can navigate technical audit and have this deep knowledge of the voting system and a solo 5 day hike with the same level of focus. So I really appreciate you sharing these insights with us today. And thanks for being here.
It was my pleasure. I look forward to coming back.
Thanks, Christopher. Thank you.
Thank you.